All right, folks, let's get to it on a Thursday. A lot to cover, a lot to update, a lot to look forward to. Whole bunch of stuff happening, obviously, in the next several days. Let's get right to it. A lot of requests for the software. That's great to see. Everybody, send your TradingView username to hpc at sr-analyst.com. Chris will take care of you for a 14-day free trial. Get set up now, and then next week we'll talk about some special Black Friday offerings. Okay, that would be the time to renew. That would be the time to get with it. I will explain that all next week. Also, if you guys aren't over on X, those that are listening to me on X, welcome. I do some posting there outside of what we do in Discord. Posted that last night. We're going to talk about what's going on here. We're going to talk about that big dot. It's coming. It's coming. It's not official until the end of the week. But with today's action, S&P's down 89 at the moment. That's 8 points. That's 8 lower from where we were yesterday. That's pretty much sealing the deal. I'm good on that. We've been looking for confirmation the whole time, and that is a starting point. Don't get me wrong. We just need to get in front of this now. What's going on, chat? Great to see everybody. Thank you very much. What's up? AA, Asher, Drip Dried, Shredded, G-Dog, Will, Cactus, everyone else. What's going on? Welcome. Settle on in. We will get to the obvious, kind of the big stuff. Bitcoin, S&P, NASDAQ, all of that. Here's NASDAQ currently. Just take a quick look. We have big patterns, no doubt. Big patterns right here on hourly time frame. 4 hours not. But take a look at where we are right now for the hourly on NQ. Okay, let me clean that up. Really nice Gartley on the 60-minute. I mean, that's a beautiful T2. But what do we need for the T2? I need confirmation. So until that happens, you're just going to be patient with it. I could see this dropping as low as the hop level at 914. Maybe by tomorrow. Use that as a nice guide. There's been a few things here. Also for today, if you are at home alone scoring along, but we have a few things here on the 5-minute, like, you know, you're down 500 on the NASDAQ at the lows. Can we get some kind of a bounce off of here? You get off the floor for a little bit. The problem is, okay, the 5-minute, that's all you've done on amplified. And HSI 5-minute, here's what I think is going to happen for the rest of the day. Okay, getting overbought on your 5-minute regular trading hours, where that's not really what you want to see in this kind of a zone. I'll come back and monitor this, but look, if we get a counter HSI dot in this zone, yeah, that's not good. That suggests there's more downside where the crab will fail. So this is the software on TradingView, and just to kind of highlight that the opportunity of this pattern really started at around 87. Okay, but there's confirmation coming in around the same area, and then looking to the right. Do we see any development? We're going to talk a lot about 30 bars today, and this is just yet another one on a 5-minute time frame. Like, let's look. There's pattern completion, but where's confirmation for today? Right there to the right. So 30 bars will probably put us about where we'll finish today. I'll go for about an hour, hour 20. Don't need more time than that. We just, don't need to waste time. Just kind of get to it. So be aware of this. We'll see if we get this counter HSI. This could be a little midday reaction going on right now. That would be nice. But I think for tomorrow, and looking at what's going on here, We got this beautiful Gartley that needs confirmation, no doubt. And take a look. I mean, this is deep oversold. So it looks like it's turning around a little bit at the moment, but with that kind of expansion where you're not even giving any kind of inflection, you're about as deep oversold as we've been all year on the hourly. I mean, amazingly, it's like a negative 24 reading on HSI. You got to go all the way back. I mean, look, hourly chart, the last time we've been this oversold, maybe July. Go all the way back here. This is the lowest HSI reading of the year. And it's almost the lowest amplified reading, and you have to go back to May. So be aware of that. This is serious stuff. So I combine that with the higher time frame, the big deal on NASDAQ, or probably even better, QQQ, that you should be aware of. Okay, what's up here? There's a few things up here. But on the long-term time frame, look, the weekly is the 1618. Here you are back again at that 1618. Okay, and we got rejected. Let's bring this back in here. Let's clean it up. And so consider this a retest of the 1618 from back in August. It's like this. I'm not saying catastrophe, okay, but I'm saying type 2. There she is. 1618, like that. And the other interesting thing about this, that just let's get the levels and use that as the framework where you have big 1618, like there. It's with the pre-market too, and it came down, and then what's that? 886. It's an 886 rejection, guys, and that's pretty significant right there. That's under 493, trading 485. What I want to see here on this a weekly chart. Can we break down the 3-week range? So tomorrow's going to be massively critical to how much this will affect next week. I'm thinking reaction here. I posted that last night on X, saying I think the election's going to end up being a sell the news kind of a deal. And under a close under 481, we should see some further downside. SPY is still the #1 chart in the world in terms of what we needed to be anticipating weekly, even monthly, although the monthly is premature. The weekly it's going to trigger. It is going to trigger. And yesterday, after not breaking out into new highs from the prior week and then rolling over, I was like, okay. Personally, I think I cut it a little too close yesterday morning. I was rolling out of things, and I just think it was I got lucky. I'll be honest. I got lucky on some of this stuff. I didn't like what I was seeing, though. Got burned a little bit, for sure. But I was bailing yesterday morning, actually. And then by the afternoon, I was like, okay, today is going to be a problem. So that's where we're at. I think you could even look at this daily structure right now, that you're breaking down that prior low, which just only takes you back to October. And it's last day of October. Happy Halloween to everyone. Hope you're, having a fun time. Markets are not, but, we have to think about this in terms of Tuesday's election. Okay, where I think we're going to continue to see this as a sell the news event, which probably already started. And then where can we go? Well, let's go back into the zone there, and let's come back. I'm thinking 565. We've got an HSI there, right there, that last signal. Come on back and kiss this zone. I think all of it is reasonable. If we really have a larger reaction, let's come on all the way back and retest that HSI reading. Some kind of retest off the August low. And it's, not crazy to think that, all right, today's significant structural breakdown day. 382 day puts you, retracement puts you around 457. Maybe a 618 is like 540. Just let's get in front of it. Longer term, not really too concerned about all of this. It's not going to be straight up. What about the hop level? Hop level at 618. If last week was the first week, we talked about that on Tuesday. And now we've got what's happened here on a daily time frame. That's building the argument, okay? That's definitely building the argument where, at least breaking it down in the weekly, that will set us off where, check it out, we're going to get a monthly bearish candle. That's number one. I will also note that it's something that, the finer kind of proprietary strategies that I offer are related to two oversold readings. And you got to look at it like this. Okay. We have a dot that will go down. Monthly closes today. Today's going to be ugly. The open bar 573.40. You close under that, you get a red candle, you get a dot. But it's only related to that initial HSI signal, and we're still going to need one more monthly bearish close. So if that shapes up and we get a nasty November, that will set it off. And I don't want to jump the gun and just say, okay, yeah, that's going to happen. Let's just assume it, but build the argument. Okay. And you do have now in the last 48 hours, especially, you've got some things coming together where you're not even going to worry about 570. We're going to think about first 530, 550, and then take it in chunks. But this is a big kind of 24, 48 hour window within not only just that weekly, but what we're talking about of last 2 years, the last 2 years. And we've seen Bitcoin. Okay. And I'll get to that in a second, because that retested the pattern that we talked about on Tuesday, where that should cap it for now. And we're still stair-stepping, even in your best case scenario, we're still stair-stepping in terms of crypto and Bitcoin. Stonks, a little bit different spot. So be aware of that. Okay, that we're going to sell the news on this, have a sell the news event from here, and today's day one. What's up, Max? Max is asking, how bearish am I on the stock market and bullish on crypto? No, I'm not. Look, I'm thinking reaction, Max. I really, and that's how we should all be thinking. Reactions within long-term trends. And I'll get to Bitcoin in a second, but this is an early process kind of a thing where we were thinking either up here, above 565, essentially looking for red candles. I mean, last week we were here. We were 7-8 months with one red month since last year. Okay, could be a freight train straight to 618. We had to see another red candle before we could even assume that determination. And with Bitcoin, that retested it. We're probably capped for now. You probably get a pullback. And I said this on Tuesday, that if we get a 5% correction in Bitcoin, don't be surprised. 10%, but we're still stair-stepping all of this. So within this whole scenario, Nothing goes straight up forever, although this last year has been remarkable. Okay, I mean, that's one bearish month in the last 12s. That has to come to an end, at least for a brief time. If we get this month, which we will, today's the last day of the month, kind of sneaky to do it that way, but that's how they roll. And then we'll see what November portends. But I think we have to be in front of it. And we're, now we're 2% off the all-time high. 2%. Had to give it a little wiggle room. But what I'm saying is just don't be surprised to see this stuff at least come in for a little bit. And the weekly, absolutely, that's probably the primary. I mean, the monthly is going to take longer to develop, but with the last 24, 48 hours, we're going to get a dot. And that dot will be official by tomorrow. And that's exactly the kind of confirmation we want to see. Now, how, as I said before, with the SPY and the rest of it, it's, just understand that there's a character change going on here. There is an absolute character change going on here. And certainly just in the last 3 months, this whole range from August at 513 up to the high 585. We need to digest that range. That's where we're at. And with the dot this week, okay, and that's going to be for sure. We're still in this channel where as this thing continues to zigzag up 530, downside kind of moving support, if you will. Bigger possibilities, I think they really depend on how next week goes and what the net result of November will be. Remember, the monthly chart has been the big consideration. Is there something larger brewing here? Potentially. I don't, by definition, what is this? It's a type 1 deep crab pattern. What do we know about these type of patterns? They love to overshoot the 1618. Also, we really need confirmation. That's what we're getting today, especially being the last day of the month. Pretty remarkable that, today was really the worst day of the month, where you weren't going to get out of October without having something like, at least a couple of individual bad days. But I'm thinking it's type 1 reaction, and we'll know really starting by next week or by next Friday, and that's obviously after the reaction, after the election, but we're going to have an election reaction. It's just how far down. So check this out, because we were kissing the overbought HSI reading on Tuesday. Now that's gone. And it doesn't matter either way. We were looking for one bearish candle on the weekly, and that's what you have. And then this is the other, for me, this is the other consideration. You can do this with RSI. This is amplified. We're going to monitor that in the next couple of weeks. I'm not really even concerned about it until we can get a breakdown there. Okay, but it's rolling over. We get another bearish candle, bearish week next week, then you've got something larger. I want to be in front of this. You're trading 571, 571.30 at the moment. Possibility for 530 in the next few weeks. Those chances have increased dramatically. And it's still reactive pullback. Remember, I mentioned this too. Okay, a lot of people saying automatically, like as soon as the Fed cut rates, that they were saying, all right, the market's going to go down as soon as they cut rates. No, it is a process. Go back here. This is why we do what we do. Okay, show you the pattern framework, but show you how the confirmation and individual price action comes together to define the opportunity with precision. And here is 2007, beautiful monthly shark. But check it out. That's where the pattern completed. And that was February of 07. Okay, that thing traded basically for almost 10 months before any rollover ensued. And then you had the dot confirmation come 5 months after the pattern completion. And I do that because it's important to understand, okay, that the pattern is a starting point. It's only a starting point. You need that confirmation, and then you still need price action development. So you look at candlesticks, you look at fair value gaps, you look at any kind of continuation strategy. All right, that's how to build the argument and look for it. I mean, if you're a fair value SMC type of person, you're not looking at that pattern. You're probably looking at something like, in terms of this development here, of, oh, there's your fair value gap right there, and then there's the retest. And so they're not even onto the opportunity until like 15 months after the initial signal. If you guys aren't aware of SMC, Smart Money Concepts, or the other letters I won't even mention, but whatever works. But what I'm trying to show you is, okay, when a lot of those people are looking, they're looking here for the opportunity, we're here months, if not a year ahead of the time. We're larger development, sure. Okay, larger development is still required, but you get confirmation up here, and you start to get this kind of rolling over failure behavior. We're well ahead of the game. We are well in front of that whole reality, and that's what we're doing here. But I'm a whatever works for your market type of person. Whatever strategy that makes you see the market, the trends, the reversals, go with it. We're doing pattern levels, and then we build from that framework. That's what I've gone through that many times, and I will continue to do so. There's a lot going on here. So, and in terms of what this deep crab is on the monthly, okay, we're way in front of this. We're 2% off the all-time high, and I'm starting to shift my read and say, guys, this is a big change in character, and get in front of it now. Yeah, we'll get to that. What's up, Daniel? Daniel's saying, are we bottoming today or just sucking in longs? I think you're sucking in longs. I definitely think you're sucking in longs. And we go on the weekly. If it's SPY, okay, we're going to bounce in the zone. I mean, clearly, now with this breakdown, and again, I think by tomorrow, we get that close under 566. That's only 5 lower. Okay, that's a big deal. But I think that's what's happening. Final note, okay, and this is why I recommend everyone get the software so that you have the tools to be able to do the read. Like, all the patterns are algo generated with, complex measurement rules and limits that separate like what's a real pattern and what's not. Like, how do you know? You could connect dots all day long and think anything's a pattern. You need standardization. But the other thing is just, building the case of this kind of analysis of saying, all right, relative strength, Wells Wilder's relative strength indicator is by far tops in my book. Why? Because you need to compare price action from today versus prior price action to be able to gauge changes. The big change that I'll look for is when amplified. That's a variation of it. It's a kind of a increased expression of RSI, breaks under the 50. Then we know we've got something really breaking down. That's going to take a couple of weeks, but that's what I'm looking for. Because once we do, we take out these lows, we get under like a 44 reading on amplified, then you get acceleration. And with HSI as well, okay, we're back under the 50. So next week, a bearish week next week, that will really put us in motion. So 571, 572 is nothing. That is nothing. We could even get this HSI dot to trigger, and you could even get a full retest back to 582. I would still say this character change is happening right now. That's why we do what we do. All right. Let's take a look. Yeah. Let's get to a couple individual stonks. What's up, Mr. Kennedy? It flies, it dies. Wants to look at Apple, Amazon. Apple's like this, guys. Okay, some overbought weekly stuff. Doesn't seem like too much just yet. I still say that's a strong chart in my book in terms of longer term. Okay, but your top end of this channel, just look, give me the railroad tracks and assume that markets all move in this type of regression trend limit. Okay, we're at the top end of that range. You got HSI, you got the HSI confirmation line. That's around 226, you're 227.38. That's fine. A minimum median test gets you to 213. Daily, look at that. Okay, daily is another HSI line. Look at that stuff just flatlining up there. And that's around 229. So, what do they got? Earnings today, tomorrow? That would be today. That's fine. I think, you're top heavy at the moment. Let's come back down. Let's get oversold a little bit. And here's exactly. So thanks for bringing this up. This is exactly the type of read that we should be analyzing where, look, it's not a difficult thing to do. You can ignore it if you want. But this breakdown in your amplified RSI is significant. That's on a daily. We have broken the 50 line after flatlining for the better part of 6 weeks or more, maybe 2 months flatlining. You can't get through 230. And then both that and HSI right here, look, what direction is that moving in? Is that below or above the 50 line? Because if you answer correctly and say it's a breakdown, it's trending lower, HSI is clearly under the 50 line. I'm not getting in front of that with a long. I'm looking at that to continue lower. It has not been expressed in price yet. Where could that go? Well, come back, test the dot. We were saying earlier like 213, maybe 207, something like that. And again, I'm not overly concerned. I just think that we've gotten top heavy on some of this stuff at the top end of a lot of these ranges. There's the monthly range for Apple. That's it, so let's have a pause. That's how markets go. You wanted to look at Amazon as well. Amazon's like this. Couple of monthly dots up there, 186. Where's the weekly? Yeah, weekly is the shark. So weekly shark at 189, currently 186, but let's break it down. What's amplified HSI doing? Starting to roll over, but again, look for it like this. If we get under the 50 line, then you're going to have to talk and have something larger to be concerned about. I'm not longing anything, even if that was to pop. Was that earnings? That's today. So the fireworks begin. I mean, in full force. It's amazing how it all comes together within such a brief period of time, but that's how it goes. Patterns and this kind of market stuff happens in bunches, in my opinion. Yeah, shark pattern. I mean, let's come back. Just take it slow. 180. Retest that HSI line. I don't, that's not crazy. I mean, I'm not saying like, jump out the window and say that it's over forever. I mean, maybe if something happens on Tuesday. But we're just at that point where we've in the last literally 48 hours. Markets can change that quickly if they're set up in the right position. And I just think that that's where we're at. We've got clear pattern signs. I mean, the shark here, not able to get through the 189.77 level. That's a big deal. And that was the third time in the last 6 weeks you made that run. You can't get up through there. All right. Are you longing there? No. Couple more. Daniel's saying there's a large megaphone pattern with 3 touches on the bottom of the SPY. Yeah, I think the SPY is about the longer term, my man. I really think the SPY is about that. First, we needed to see the weekly dot go on. And then before we get the weekly dot, let's let the dailies do what they have to do. And then be mindful of the fact that, okay, we're going to get a bearish monthly close. That's it. That's a huge, significant thing, but we're there in front of this. And then we'll I'm not saying anything's going to, I'm not saying fireworks right off, but I am going to be in front of it and say, look, we have 1. Now we're going to get 2 to get 3. That's where we are. Brain freeze. What do I mean by getting in front of this? What does that mean? Yeah, I just mean it's get in front of the fact that there's a character change going on with today's action in particular, with the fact that this is the last day of the month. Totally understand that. Okay, it's been a market premium for a while, and it's been the one signal we've been waiting on for the SPY. That has been the one chart. It wasn't happening on Tuesday, okay, but it started yesterday. And then today's, that seals the deal. And there's plenty of time. I mean, I know some things are getting blown up, but from the larger perspective of things, we haven't even started any kind of correction or retracement. I'll say this, reaction. Don't be surprised to see a reaction over the next few weeks, with today kind of being the light switch that went on. And you have a lot of things there. I mean, it's that, or if you go to Microsoft, I bailed on all those MSFL things and other things like that. Microsoft's down like 25 today or something. And I'm glad to see it, because this is going to set up, finally, you're going to get some retracement opportunities. Was that a daily bat pattern on there? Let me check 4 hour. It sure was. It was a bat pattern at 438. But we had this. Come on back. We have this shark pattern. Back here, 398. 438. Come on back down. It's a 400 to 450. Again, I'm not saying anything other than reaction, but don't be surprised if you see it react further to set up something more substantial later in the year, early next year, something like that. But at least for now, okay. A couple others. What's up, Vestige? Well, let's start with Ivan because he was before you. He wants to look at Ulta. Ulta, wasn't this something big on a weekly or monthly? It is weekly oversold. What about the daily? Not a heck of a lot there. It daily oversold, but really nothing that gets me. I know this is a deep oversold. I thought there was something here though. Maybe it was Lulu. Right now, monthly, you got a monthly oversold HSI, but that needs to check back at 345 before that light switch goes on. So that's probably early. Vestige was, I think you were right. There's something brewing in Lulu. 298 at the moment. There's a nice monthly oversold HSI, but where's I know there's a pattern on that one. There's a shark type 2 on the weekly. Maybe it's a daily. Not yet. Daily's a bearish bat. 306, maybe down to 279. That needs some time. Like, remember this? Okay, you're looking at your weekly. Careful on that. That's already overbought in terms of weekly HSI. I would think that needs to come down a little bit more. Couple more. What's up, Greg? Welcome. Let's go to ACHR. Don't know that one. ACHR. Archer Aviation. Not bad. I mean, that's probably needs to get above the 50 level. What's the daily look like? Nice shark. There's a few things right there. Back-to-back shark pattern. Yeah, I mean, low floater. Keep an eye on that one. You got to turn back up here. Problem with these low floaters, they can get stuck in the zone for a while. You know, we could bang between these levels here before you really get moving, and the other thing is, like, you know, are we above the 50 level? Looks like last week was the first week we really cleared above the 50 on weekly, and again, same deal. Get the amplified RSI, get that above 50, and then you could get follow through. Greg is saying MicroStrategy. I'll bring up LAC in a second too. MicroStrategy 247. Yeah, I mean, you're up there 1618. I think that thing's due for a pullback. I mean, long-term chart looks amazing. Remember, we were talking about this monthly. That's massive. I mean, that's just a massive candle. But, you know, I think it's tough to long in front of it. Max upside is an 886, 295. I mean, it's a Bitcoin play. Nothing changes there. Just wait, maybe break it down on an hourly chart even. You know, yeah, you're oversold. There's an hourly chart. Okay, this is a better time frame. Maybe 236. And I'll do it this way. Okay, and we designed the software to kind of make it easier. Tell me where the dots are. You want to get long MicroStrategy. Well, every time we have a dot, you know, it's like this. Hold on. Just identify the dots. Can you wait for that setup? There, here, and we certainly have HSI oversold again. there. There was another HSI, no dot. And now an additional, how many? The fifth on the hourly chart, fifth HSI signal, potentially the fourth out of 5 dots. But that's the strategy I'm talking about. Let the reaction happen. Come on in. Maybe that's as low as 236 and go for the retest back to 270. But that's what I'm getting at. Like, you know, in the short term here, okay, you're just up against some resistance where take a couple of weeks and let that come in for you. All of those, same kind of deal. They're gonna have to knock. Like, it does not, you know, I'll get to Bitcoin in a second, but I've been saying that you're gonna have to knock on that 75 zone for Bitcoin and a lot of these others. They're gonna have to knock on resistance several times before they get to do the bigger move or the bigger continuation move. Yeah, I mean, you go to September, even that one and there. So you had like 5 dots, didn't you? Just September. That September low is 120, and then 127, then 159, and then 179, and then 197, and now 236. That's how you should be thinking with any stock. Couple more. I'm the box I'm showing. What's up, Nasser? I'm just trying to highlight the dot HSI combination, and it's related to this indicator here. All right, where if you're in a long-term uptrend, and we are still in a lot of long-term uptrends, no doubt. You know, you're like that. That's the 90-day uptrend. Okay, we want to be buying lower end of the channel pullbacks with the dot confirmation. It's kind of an easy way, kind of a dumbed down way, just to highlight those areas, and that's what's setting up here. You know, we're oversold. There's HSI, and so HSI on that last retest that got oversold. So we start looking as we were there a week ago, and 2 weeks ago, and 3 weeks ago, and you know, you see the picture, what I'm saying. I think MicroStrategy still has room to run, of course. You know, 290, 300. But that's the stair-step mechanism I talk about. And maybe I need to kind of be clearer on when I say stair-step. It's like this, like donk, 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 donk. That's how markets move. They move in waves. That's why harmonics work, because it utilizes natural wave properties. 618, 1618, derivations thereof. And then you bring, and that builds the argument. That builds the case of saying, okay, do I buy it here on a retracement? Like, how far will that retrace? You wait for the dot and continue to go with it. LAC, guys, we talk about pop and roll. That was something we highlighted. I know a bunch of people jumped in on that down there when I first brought it up. That's great. You know, there was the dot. It's a massive bat pattern. It was at 5. Now it's at 4. Okay, it's a beautiful setup. But it's still not going to go straight up. This will XA level at 398. That's your firm support that you want to look at. And it's like this on the daily. Okay, so first thrust, great. Are we going to get another oversold reading down here? Let's see. But, you know, thrust, pause, retrace, thrust again. And I think anywhere under 4, 398. That's that level. And, you know, obvious target's 740. Target 1 off of that bat pattern up at 12. And I will say this, okay? So on Tuesday, I'm going to unveil the election plan. There's going to be a plan for the pro market candidate, and there's going to be a plan for the anti market candidate. But either way, we're playing the markets. And it doesn't matter. The markets will give us opportunities. It's just defining them. I think in a lot of ways, both candidates are going to bring further inflation. But I think there's going to be a reaction first, sell the news type of situation. But we want to line this stuff up. Anybody see gold? Gold, I know it's down 50 today, but that's really nothing. I mean, it's like 2,800. Are you kidding me? And gold's it is in a parabolic move off of the 2020 COVID correction. It's from there to there. Okay, you're in the latter stages, acceleration stages there. I would say that's like, well, here's right there. What are we heading currently? 2618. Gold's at a 2618 right now. So you have a little reaction. Create a new step. Not a biggie. Nothing's, there's nothing that's broken down about that. It's just, okay, it's hit that level of the wave there. 2618's like that. Now, before we do, say, 314 move, which is like 3,000, which I'm pretty confident that we'll probably see that 3,000 level by January. End of January. There comes that end of January statement again, but end of January, folks. Gold is actually entering into a seasonally bullish time. And I'm just trying to get that exactly right because it was like perfect 2618 right there. Let me turn on the magnet and just highlight this, that even with these long-term weekly levels, yeah, it's that precise. It goes like that. There and there. 314 is up there at through 3,100, I would say. It's a 3,000 entity now. And then 3618 is like there, 3,300. And I've been saying that all year. So nothing's really changed on this. You're just a little pause. Great. I mean, let's break it down on the 4 hour. Okay, gold doesn't even look like much. It's like a 1 day thing, and we're probably letting a lot of air out of the tire. We are. So gold will set us up again. Hourly is oversold. And I'm of the opinion that probably, well, what happened here in the beginning of the month, that was probably the launch pad around 2,600 for the move into December and January. Like, we are seasonally entering into the strongest period of time for gold, without a doubt. And so you're looking for hard, fast reactions, and then you continue off of those reactions. Last time we had a big breakdown gap was just a week ago. Gold went from 2760 and inside of 2 hours, dropped $50. And that's where we're at. I mean, the gold is telling us a story, a big story. A couple more. XAG, that's the silver, right? Yep. That looks nasty. Why would you think that looks nasty? I'm not of that opinion. I think we're not surprised to see hard reactions. Gold flirted with $35, and look at those patterns. I mean, beautiful hop level, 3470, super nice. Now you're at target one at 3250, and guess what the low was this morning? Yep, 3250. Exactly. Maybe the 4 hour is a better chart. Yeah, sure is. Look at that. 4 hour time frame. is still my favorite time frame for all markets, and probably will be, especially relative to what's going on a lot of these charts daily, weekly. But, 3471 was the measured T1. T1 went on, your dot went on right there. And then, what do you expect from that point forward? You get the pattern, you look for confirmation, bang, 2-bar, 2-bar retest of that zone, and you go down to target 1, which is hit there. That was today. Now, can we get oversold? We're oversold now. So maybe we trade as low as the target 2. But I'd be watching this for silver. We're deeply oversold. Nothing happens until that comes out of the zone. But that's just a hard, fast retracement within this monthly, amazing monthly chart, monthly reactive chart. And remember this? It's a big monthly bat pattern. Almost tagged 30 target 2 at 35 exactly. That would have been amazing. Probably still will. The high was 34.86. Definitely. And just another kind of hard, fast pullback within a long-term uptrend. And I'm of the opinion that silver is likely, and maybe it's going to take longer than gold. We'll know as soon as gold cracks 3,000 how hard that's going to run, but the gold move will bleed over into all of these other markets. That would be my 2025, 2026 framework objective, where this is becoming a back-to-back bat scenario. Again, just using the pattern alignment as a framework. But that's the level, and you also see it with the B point at a 50%. Okay, and then 886, you're already triggered the whole ABCD component. We're building arguments here. We absolutely want to put the framework as our levels, and then from there, just kind of follow it along as you make your way up the chain. Okay, let's jump to Bitcoin. Okay, guys, what did Bitcoin do last time? We were up there, we were talking about Bitcoin, and Bitcoin hit the T2 bat. And so I posted on this 2 days ago that we want to be aware of that T2 bat, where, look, it's going to have to knock multiple times before it moons. Let me just show you that post. Okay, because it's not clear at the moment of like what exactly. I hear you. Who put that up? Who put that up is Joe. Exactly. Look, the money printer phenomenon, I completely agree, is going to go into overdrive. But how so, and when, and to what degree? So here's the post I put up. That was like 36 hours ago. I said, okay, let's look at the type 2 getting triggered, because it hit the pattern of there. It retested what I like to say looping pattern, that looping type 2. Okay, and I think that's going to cap, for now, this whole progress. You didn't break through. You didn't bust the hop yet, and we know that moon phase is above the hop. So we're going to knock here, and you're going to get knocked down. Maybe have a 5% correction. Don't be surprised. The other thing that's going on here is that, yeah, we got a dot. So by tonight, especially with this action, what are we down? Like 1,000, 2,000? Is this our 5% correction? It would have to be down 3,500. But yeah, get in front of this. 30-day window starts here. I don't think it's going to be more than a sideways grind as Bitcoin begins to build, but let's project it. We could do it off the T2, okay, or the confirmation, but that puts us into a hell of a month. Okay, we're going to have to take this out and assume this character change for the next 30 days. So talk to me around Thanksgiving. Talk to me, after we finish Thanksgiving dinner, what this window does. For now, it's capped. Doesn't change the longer term dynamics of, breaking out above this crab pattern and, poking all of this resistance up here. Okay. But it's certainly didn't bust through. And we're going to have to knock on this resistance wall a few times. And it might be 3 to 4 weeks of knocking on there before we see that follow through. And again, the only problem here is that people want it now, but that's not how markets work. That's the deal with Bitcoin. I mean, you had I think it's just this looping kind of type 2 that I like to call it. It doesn't have the same type of strength as something where you have a tight 1-2. If this was like, if Bitcoin did like this back in the beginning of the year, they did the 1 and then they did the 2 and then down. That's a more ideal situation. This, where you have kind of a nominal test, look, let's just let it do its thing. You're running into all of this resistance for now. Can you come back and just get back onto the trend line and surf that? That's not a crazy assumption. Maybe that's 67 or 68. And break it down. Look, HSI triggered, amplified, rolling over. Again, you want to use RSI or whatever. That's up to you. But we'll see this come back down. The next thing I want to see is, can we get oversold? We've done it before, and I showed you guys on MicroStrategy that same kind of idea here. Again, trying to get your brains wired so that you're patient and you're waiting for opportunities like that and like this. And then when we see reactions off of overbought situations, like we're right now, we're temporarily overbought. Does that mean anything big thing? No, not really. But do you want to be longing in an overbought situation? No. There and here. And then let's get the next set of oversold triggers along this uptrend line. Take a look at the weekly. Okay, weekly is still strong. The weekly is still following a pretty nice progression here of heading on its way back to getting overbought on the weekly. But inside all of that, you've had some fluctuations. That's a stair step situation. That's the stair step kind of deal. Like this, and that's the wave function, bang and bang. I mean, this is still strong, looks good, but it's going to take, I'd say, 30 days. I mean, we're locked into a 30-day window. If you're not aware of the 30 phenomenon, the way that we're treating that, it's central limit theorem. It's a simple statistical principle where you're looking at the next 30 days of data as like a sample size of price action. We're going to look at that and we'll assess that response off of the clear levels, but it's hit perfectly. Okay, so then let it do its thing. Let it get capped. Let it come back and hit the trend line. Today's dot's going to seal the deal. And I would even say by tomorrow, look, if we're under 69.7, yeah, then you're probably going to get to 67 pretty quickly. But it doesn't change the larger dynamics. It's just this is the next step in the process. Easiest way to think about that, please. Justin saying 69.4. I agree with that. Carthago's asking, what's up, Carthago? How you doing today? Would you sell half of your investment at the top range of the 7 and then re-enter on the breakout of 75? Depends on where you got in, but if you're long term, no. No, you're not. This is just another fluctuation like we saw in September. or back in August. I mean, the play is still 1025. You're still playing for the Bitcoin breakout longer term. And if you're a true hodler, you're playing for the prophecy scenario as put forth by Saint Michael Saylor himself. I mean, it's almost got to be like that. If you're going to trade Bitcoin, stay on a 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart's looking like that, and we're almost oversold. 4-hour chart, I got a lot on that chart, but it's just this overrun crab pattern that's not even that strong. So again, I'm just trying to highlight the steps in the process, and we're forming the next step. And that could be as low as Justin said, 69 or 67.5. And I've repeatedly said we're going to have to knock on that door at around 71 or 70,900 multiple times before it's realized. To me, what it says is that the whole moon phase and what everyone's looking for might not really get going until after Thanksgiving. For those that aren't in the United States, Thanksgiving, the most delicious holiday of the year, is this year. It's the last Thursday in November. It's the 28th. And so then that sets you up for like a December, January type of run. I hear Ogelio saying he can't wait. You're going to have to wait. And it's a great comment, my man. The whole patience thing, like you want it now. I get it. That's something you have to adjust in your brain with anything, with any kind of opportunity. I mean, that's half the battle as traders, developing that plan, that patience. And as the days and weeks and months go by, can you maintain that discipline? Understanding that you might want something to go up now, but as I always say, you have to be ready to trade the market when it is ready to be traded. Okay? It's not ready right now. You're in that next step where it's not ready to be longed. You're looking for the next retracement, the next 4-hour oversold reading, and let it build. Now we could be 75, above 75 is still moon phase. But I think even if you were to run right back up there, you would knock on that a few times. When would I short the SPY or the Qs? I would think like you'll know by next week. You'll know by next week. I think you'll have the confirmation next week. Okay, and I don't think it's worth it. With the election risk, and like I said, we'll probably get a reaction that will at least pull it back no matter who wins. But what we're talking about with the SPY and the Qs is a larger scenario that's developing. Hasn't really been, I mean, as aggressive as it's been the last few months has not been, it's just making up ground from August. So let's see how that plays out. Again, I'm going to favor one way or another. Okay, I have ideas for where I want to be looking if one person gets in versus the other. I do care. I mean, I really do care because I do think it matters in a way where you haven't had this discrete of a difference in policies. Like one person has policy, the other not so much. But I'm looking for that larger character change where it's not about next week. It's about that time period from November to the inauguration and then the inauguration thereafter, the next 2-3 years. I would love to see the market have a nasty retracement, a quick 90-day, maybe even 6-month retracement to set you up for some kind of massive recovery return move but it's just not there yet. Like today's day one, guys, really is. And if I was saying, I've been outlining those scenarios, okay, of the Qs or the SPY in particular. But if I was saying anything before today in terms of like, oh, it's absolutely going to happen, and we didn't have the price action, I'm just mere speculation. Now we have some evidence. Yeah, that's another good point. You might not get the results Tuesday night, and let's let's hope we get results. Seriously, let's hope we get either way concrete results. Market is going to, and the rest of us are going to have to just deal with what's going on no matter what, no matter who wins. We will be flexible with it, and we'll be ready to trade the market when it's ready to be traded. If that's looking at like, interest rates to rebound and an inflation trade or a deflation trade, I think those are the two scenarios. We didn't even get to crude oil. Let me quick do that because, it's interesting. Crude oil is doing some things that, where'd it go? Where's crude oil? I think it's important to look at that at 70. So what's down here? We've been talking about this 70 level for a while. It's a big bat pattern. It's type 2. Let's just frame it out like that. 70 has been the floor. You're 69 at the moment. Is it trending up or down in terms of indicator progress? I'm going to say this. Okay, with crude oil. Hasn't cracked the 50 convincingly since the oversold reading. That's weekly. So we had that retest. We have a dot. There's a lot of things there. But have we cracked the 50 level to really get this going? Hold on, let me bring that over there. Not yet. And what we want to see off of that support, if crude, I do think crude is going to be kind of a disparate reaction one way or another. If we're rollover, okay, then we target the hop level where it's not a 70 thing. It is kind of, I think it's not going to take much longer where you take out these lows, you're under 65, you're probably going to tag the hop. And you don't have any development right now, especially with amplified. That's all that's going back down. So crude trade, not really ready, not yet. And if the whole psychology is going to shift to where they're going to pump oil, then that makes sense down there. Now monthly is more like this. No doubt we're oversold. It is the 70 level, but I need to see development. And the reason why I need to see development is because it's not even about 70 or 75. If it's truly a bullish structure and you're looking at a floor, okay, then you're thinking more like 85, 90 with plenty of time to make that assessment. Right now, no. Just kind of waffling here for the last 2 years, no doubt. The weekly time frame, I think that's a great time frame. That's probably how you should be monitoring it. But it's just not there yet. And I think if you're able to really crack these lows, the only thing down here is the 52 level. And that's massive deflationary movement where you'll see inflation get chopped. And that would be great for rates and all of that. But that's going to take time. Again, there's a change of character going on right now in all the markets. You're going to have an adjustment phase. And I think today was like a big day. Today, yesterday, those were 2 big days to kick it off. And we're thinking reaction here off of all the signals that we mentioned to set up the next long opportunity. That's at lows. That's lower lows for all of this. VIX. What about the VIX? Let's take a look at the VIX. Haven't looked at the VIX in a while. VIX not bad. VIX looks kind of bullish, actually. There's the weekly. What's the daily? It's around 22. That's a fairly bullish chart right there. And VIX has been framed out by these two patterns, 17, 18, and then with the resistance more like 30. Currently 22. So I would think, yeah, that's maybe not a bad idea. Like there, and then that support. What's that 4-hour look like? Yeah, yesterday was a pop. Today's a pop. But in terms of big moves, maybe a little pullback. Probably like right before the election. You're a little overbought at the moment. But not a bad idea. It just that's a sleeper play. I mean, you did nothing all month or even longer. Last several weeks. Now you're starting to make progress, and obviously static resistance above 23 or 24. The number is 31. Where that could go. Yeah. Where can you make money right now? VIX calls. I don't. You know what? I think risk reward in general, just not worth it. I mean, there's a time and a place, and just give it time. Excuse me 1 second. And the larger opportunity possibility for major market moves, swing moves, is probably still 2 or 3 weeks away. Let's get through this massive once every 4-year craziness. And this is one of the craziest. Where's things that are pretty crazy? I mean, just a couple of individual ideas. I mentioned this VF Corp a long time ago because it has massive patterns. And this is a good one to look at relative to like LAC that we saw. Okay. That had a big move up, knocked back down, but this is still steady kind of progress off of the low at 11. And I'm looking at things like that. I am also looking at things like Mosaic. So think materials, think steel, think inflation. Because one way or another, inflation's coming. It's what do we have to get through to get there, though? Wasn't that weekly? Yeah, this is a weekly deal, Mosaic. Doesn't look like much. And this is not anything I'm in just yet, but I'm looking at stuff like this because I think these big cyclical creatures like that, their time is coming due. Oh, you know what the other one was and we had looked at this. It wasn't 2 months ago. Look at UEC. Remember we were talking uranium not too long ago on the daily, right at $4, 450. Doink. Yeah, there's the arrow, 445. Things like that. Camago or Kamiko. That did another move off the September lows. I know we were looking at that. Oh, I know the other place to be looking. And it's good that you say that. Like, where can we make money? I don't think they're just there yet, but we want to line them up. Things like refiners, because that, that's on sale. I think like ConocoPhillips down here, that's definitely on sale. And look, weekly oversold. It did the 1-2. Now we're trying to bounce off a support at 104. Valero, that's another one at the low end of the channel. Okay, refiners aren't going anywhere. The need for refining capacity, that's a long-term play. Okay, that continues. Or the other thing that I haven't really ever focused on, but we need to, I think, especially after Elon's show a week or two ago, we need to look at aerospace. That is GE getting clipped right now, but this is just another long-term runner within the uptrend channel. Aerospace is only going to get more important. ASTS, that had a moment about 2 months ago, and I think that's coming back now. Yeah, look at that. Remarkable. I mean, that was $2.50, $2 back in May. Now it's 24. But look at the long-term chart. Next weekly oversold. Let it come in. And that reminds me of Carvana. Carvana. That was another one at $4. Wow, 258. Amazing. Just show you some things I'm looking at. I mean, Carvana, that's an 886 play. It's like 333. Things that haven't moved like that are still, I feel, viable. PayPal. Okay. Getting some top-heavy resistance at the moment because you're up against a bearish crab there on the daily. Not a problem. Hey, we get that back down to 72. Let it come in. And this is where bearish patterns can be your friend. Let it have the reaction. Again, there's that R word again we're looking for. Reactions there, and then the return move to get that going. This exemplifies my thought on the market in general. You're at reactive resistance at the moment. Let's get through this reaction and let's set up that next long for the larger move. I really like PayPal. I'm still long PayPal. I will stay long PayPal because I think that's a big turnaround play. Palantir, another one, finally coming off. Thank goodness. And I know a lot of people are saying, oh, it's overvalued. For me, all it is, it's an 886 reaction. Okay, Palantir got up, blasted through the 886, 1-0 up here. Okay, let it come in. 886 is like that. I would argue that Palantir has already busted its 886. Now come back and hit the top side. You're 41.47, maybe back to 40. But that's another long-term uptrend that's literally about to begin after the reaction, a next wave type of deal. Couple more. What was the other? There was a big one. I think it was Phillips, or was it Procter Gamble? Procter Gamble, slow, steady, stupid. Okay, really slow, boring stuff. But again, when we're talking about like forever type stocks, these are setting up where after the pullback, beautiful couple of patterns there. And it's 165. I'm interested in this shark, which it is, to become a 5-0 and get oversold and then get ready for the next level. Same with Coca-Cola, guys. I know, super boring, right? Really, really boring. But check out those patterns. It's a beautiful weekly pattern. And we just picked that off the low, and that was a year ago, right at $50. Okay? Coke, perfect crab pattern, but it's only a reaction. So let it come in. We're going to get oversold, get under that 65 area, and then the next trend continuation. That's how we should be thinking about all of these. I think there's a lot of these that are set up where let it do its thing, and let it do its thing for, like I said, we're in a 30-day window, no matter what. Here's another one of my favorites. Oh, geez, look at Morris. I didn't even see that. That's one of my favorite all-time long hold. I keep adding to that. And Altria, you know, this really could be something now. Altria, long term. We get above, and that yields or was yielding like 8%. And that's another one to be looking at. Or it's relative Philip Morris. Good old Phil. Look at Phil. Philip Morris in the monthly, folks. This is a new cycle breakout. And I've mentioned this one many times. Okay. That's a beautiful breakout play. I mean, that's a massive continuation. All right. And here's the other thing. Just flat out harmonic objective on the weekly chart. We just went bullish counter signal, pushing it higher. I'm thinking that's a 138, and you pick up like a 4 or 5% yield on that. And I'll be talking a lot more about dividend yield because that's going to be important as we go forward. Pick up the yields and keep going. That's a massive breakout. You're 133. I mean, you go 138, 140. But that's something bigger. I mean, that kind of a breakout is just enormous continuation. What's Cleveland Cliffs for Daniel? CLF. I like that one. And I did look at that a while back. These are other plays. They're big cyclical plays. Where's the weekly on that? It's here. Maybe it needs a little more time, like monthly. Oh, yeah, look at this. Look at that beautiful shark. It's somewhere down there. It might be as low. It's at 13 right now. That very well could be as low as $7. But we're oversold on the monthly. We're going to have to start looking at different companies, guys. I don't care who wins the election. We're going to have to start looking at old economy, materials, resource plays, and I'm talking for long-term, kind of forever style situations. Let me get super boring on you. Here's AT&T. Look at that shark. And that thing pays, I don't know, 6-5%. That's huge. Or this was something for my crew, Comcast. I don't like, personally, I think it's what they're broadcasting is garbage, but people are buying it. I mean, I'm looking at that. You know, I can rest aside my feelings and just say, all right, give me the setup. It's a weekly type 2. Down at 39 since then. It's a slow mover, but this trend is trying to continue. Probably a better one than that would be, was it Verizon? Yeah, Verizon. Where's the monthly? Verizon is so here's the deal on Verizon. And I'll be doing more of these. Why? Because if I'm right about these dividend plays, their corrective phase is over. That's a shark to 5-0 on the monthly with bullish continuation. And you're playing for the return move back up to return the shark as you're picking up 5% on the dividend. Okay? That is for your slow money. It's places like that are going to win without being too much of a risk. There was one other one. It escapes me now. Oh, well, T-Mobile, that's just been on fire. I don't know if I really don't have anything on T-Mobile. I mean, I would keep it on the radar. It's just, but that's insane. Or go, oh, here's the one. I'm ready to size up on Costco. Okay, can we come down to the low end of the channel? There are some things here on the daily, and I think we can get down here pretty soon. Can we retest that shark pattern? You're 872. Can we get back to 800? It's not a lot. And give us a type 2. It's a lot of those kind of things I'm looking at right now. And of course, there'll be a time for the Amazons and the Facebooks of the world. But these older economy things are they're going to come in, they're going to go into a good position, and you're not going to have to think about it. What's Nokia? For a Nokia long-term play? I don't. I thought that thing was dead. That thing didn't do anything forever. I'll come back to that. I mean, I'm not. I want stuff that's trending, and I'm talking about things that pay a dividend. Yeah, you got something here. Maybe. I mean, look, you got a bunch of patterns, and you do have some monthly oversold triggers. You could be down between 4 and 6 for another couple of years, but not a bad one. I mean, that's okay. I think there's better stuff. I think you can look at other plays, uh, things that have what comes to mind. Motorola Solutions. I mean, that's a ridiculous chart. That's too far gone. But I will say this, MSI at the financial crisis low had massive patterns. Now that's 15 years later. I'm not talking about something. What I'm talking about for all of these plays, next 3 to 5 years, guys. The next 3 to 5 years. All right, before I get out of here, we got to look. Let's take a peek at the NASDAQ. Look, the target for today on NQ is that 19.9 number. And maybe it takes till tomorrow. 19.9 is like this. All right, it's the hop level on the Gartley. And we're still so oversold here. So if you're doing futures trading, and for my crew, that's absolutely, we're looking for 9,914. I think that could be today. You're currently down 485 at the moment. You're currently down 485 at the moment. With this shows us what happens when you don't have confirmation. It's just not ready. I haven't looked at this going on quite a while. Oh yeah, look at what happened. Nice bat pattern up there at 105. So yeah, it's a T2. T2. Next week, I'm going to I just wanted to share with you guys. So one of the things I've personally been doing, I mentioned this, I've been checking out the prop firms. I know a lot of people are interested in doing it. I did it one time years ago, and it just wasn't, I trade with my own money. So I don't want to give anybody a cut of my money, but I know there's a big demand for it. So I'm taking a look at a couple of firms, and I should be approved on Apex by next Friday. I think I need at least 7 days. And I'm looking at them. I'm looking at Top Step. If you guys have any suggestions of other firms I should go check out, I'm going to go get approved on a couple of these and probably go with the best one or two and set up a program where we do harmonic patterns. Do harmonic patterns and other strategies on futures to get people funded. So look for that. Also look for some big announcements next week on what we're doing in November. My funded futures. Is that a good one? Top Step only. I'll look at Top Step. The guys over at Top Step, they do that show. They had somebody on, and I appreciate it. They gave me a great shout out 2 weeks ago, and he was doing hand-drawn harmonic patterns. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, all right, I think we need to really put the right tools for people and, just kind of help them along with if it's at that stage in the game. And I just simply wasn't aware that, they had like 5,000 people on that live stream, and a guy was doing harmonic patterns. Yeah, it's time to look at it. So some of the stuff that I'm going to push going forward. All right, look, no matter what happens on these markets here, we do have a lot to look forward to. No matter who wins that election, Okay, we will trade the markets when they are ready to be traded. Let's just give it a couple of days. Let's let this reaction get all the way realized. CFT. Hey, if anybody wants to send me an email with a couple of notes about what you use for funded accounts, let me know. I'll check them out. Also, everybody, get over to TradingView. Get at least the TradingView program by sending your TradingView username to hpc@sr-analyst. The other program that I'm starting to use, haven't used it in a while, is NinjaTrader. So Apex runs that through Rhythmic or Autovate. What is that? Tradeovate for the depth of market. NinjaTrader, and we have a great product on NinjaTrader. So check that out. I'm actually running that more. It's been a long time since I've used NinjaTrader, so I'm really just kind of working through the test to get that all set up. And it's NinjaTrader 8. I need to actually update that because they're not even using 7 anymore. That shows you. But if you have any questions or any feedback, send me a note, harmonictrader@gmail.com, and let me know what you think and what I should investigate. All right? Great, guys. That's what I have for today. Have a great one. Again, we'll catch you tomorrow. Not tomorrow, sorry. Catch you on Tuesday, 12 noon. And I'm going to adjust this to more like a 12 noon show. All right. Thanks, everybody. Take care. See you next time. Go get them.